Get him.
Oh my God!
Calm down. Come here.
Yeah, dude!
Dude.
6 pounds, 11 ounces. Oh,
Oh my. Limp. That's what I've been waiting for all day.
that's over 6.
True. And that one's.
Oh, here he goes.
Go. Good.
That's a big fish.
Full hand on tail. Yeah, it looks sick. Good to go.
Look how broad that thing is.
I wonder if that was the one that followed me in.
Beautiful. Oh my God. Holy God. What a beast.
Oh wow. That might be a
Dude.
4. That might be a 4.
Yeah, it's a 4. You guys show that off too. 4 pounds, 12 ounces. Holy.
Another good one.
Holy sh! What the? Is that another 6?
Could be.
It's the second giant of the day, proving that point. Oh my God! Oh my God!
Yes!
Big baits, big fish. There we go. 5 pounds, 6 ounces. Beauty! Dude, I'm not even joking. It happened again.
Kidding me?
Nope.
Is it big?
Oh! That's strong.
Oh wow.
That's a fat fish, dude.
4.
Holy. Dude. Holy hell, that's long.
Yeah, it is.
5, 4, 6. What?
Yeah. Just rock.
Got him. Get in here, you. There's another 6. You. That's a big fish.
6'10".
Woo-hoo-hoo.
Little fatty.
Oh,
we're
no, we were
muted.
talking and I wasn't paying attention. I'm so sorry. I didn't miss it by that much. How's everybody doing tonight? Let us know if the audio is still good or not. Always want to double check that before we get rolling because we've had way too many instances of that being an issue. Otherwise, thank you all for joining us as usual. Greatly appreciate it. One of the things I've not done in a while, sound off and who's in the chat. First and foremost, Aaron S., thank you very much. One of our new subscribers. Found us through being recommended to him, which is awesome. That means the algorithm is doing its work, helping us out.
Finally.
Yeah. Andrew, Gordy, Dan, Kevin, Mark, who else? Mike, Pittsburgh Angler, Dixie, David, Chris, Andrew, Midwest, Brandon, Massing and Bassing, Freedom Fishing, Alec, thinking out, Brandon, Mike, Mark. Now I'm repeating people. It's okay. I got everybody. That's the important thing.
Nailed it.
What?
Nailed it.
I tried. We're going to talk a little bit about spring fishing and how much it sucked. But, we've talked about that a lot.
It's not even really spring yet.
Correct. And that's what like the primary goal of this tonight is. Things are changing for the better, thankfully, because we finally had a good warm spell. And most importantly is that overnight, it's going to stay at least like low to mid 40s every night this week. And granted, I'm really primarily basing this forecast off of southern New Hampshire, but for the most part, it's going to be the same most other areas in the greater New England kind of region. So I really do think that for places that people fish that are smaller bodies of water, they're starting to see that warm up really, really good. There's several transitional phases that are going to happen all rapidly back to back to back. And I do really think that this weekend it's going to be really good. I think things are going to line up really well, and this rain is going to help out. So that's kind of it, like a little bit of retrospect as to what the hell's been going on, and then forward into basically everything we're going to recommend and opinions on like how you should be rethinking to attack it this weekend, because my gut's telling me it's going to shift dramatically and for the better, at least in shallower bodies of water. Deeper bodies of water, different story. A little bit harder to pinpoint that because those water temps don't shift as much. So we'll take it as it goes. Just checking out low 40s. Andrew said, oh, Aaron, 48 where you went. All right.
48.
Close already, hey?
He went. 48 there.
48 New York Harbor.
So it's going to be 48 this weekend.
Hook and bass up north. 33 acre pond yesterday, 48 degrees.
See, 48. We will see you guys next weekend.
Goddamn right. We'll see you on Sunday. We're heading north. We know where we're going. Smallies. Maybe back to the spot I caught my PB on in December. We'll see. It's going to be something like that. A spot primarily Smallies, but we'll hope for the best. Ooh. DJ went up to Champlain during the eclipse on Monday. And he was smart, and instead of trying to drive home through that hellish traffic, I saw he went to Fiddlehead Brewery, get himself some brews before he hit the road. I hope so. Jody, I'm pinning this. Jody, bet they would chew like crazy on Friday. 110% agree, which is exactly why I took Friday afternoon off. And I would have loved to have taken the whole day, but the problem is I am so absolutely buried with work that even though I do need time off to clear my head and go do something I just love, every hour I'm not there, I fall behind. That's not an exaggeration. That's a really good idea as to the volume of work I deal with on a daily basis. So taking time off is awesome. Makes me feel good. But then as soon as I get off the water, I'm like, God damn, how much extra work do I have to look forward to when I get back?
Ah, shit. I shouldn't have gone fishing.
Yeah. Yay! Damn it. It's two emotions back to back. Hand in hand. It's wonderful.
Like my love life.
Whoa. Jesus Christ. Boat potato. 52 yesterday in Thai.
Ooh.
Damn. Well, I know we're DJ will be. That's for sure. David, Squam Monday was 39 degrees. Dixie, 50-degree water today. You're down in the Cape for anybody curious. Andrew's going Sunday afternoon to Webster. Good luck there. Who else did I miss? I saw some other... Oh, Mark, it was 46 by the time I left, but the fish were mostly pinned to the bottom. All right. Massing and bassing. Caught 6 on Sunday and 43 degrees. Mark, 48 to 56 yesterday in Connecticut. All right, so we got a whole range of things. But what I'm seeing is we are about to hit that next transition where we've had a consistent pattern of warming weather. And it's been warm enough that it's making a dramatic impact on the water. One of the things that I saw that a lot of people were talking about this past weekend, and I'm like 99% sure we actually talked about this last spring or the spring before. There is that transition where the water temp is going to skyrocket up and those fish are all of a sudden come out of the deep water and go up shallow. It's going to be like a day or two, but they don't do anything. They're just happy to be up in the warm water and they won't touch anything. There's outliers and everything. You still see some people catching fish and cracking up shallow, but more often than not, I find that the vast majority of those cases, there's going to be a window where it's like, hell yeah, dude. 3 or 4 straight day of nice weather after all that cold. Fish have moved up. I can see them. Why the hell can't I catch anything? Just because, dude, they're just happy to get out of that cold water. They're happy to be up there and warm and sun themselves, and they just need a day or two to get ready. But then that feed bag is going to come on, and that shallow water bite is going to start doing really, really, really well in a lot of areas, and a lot sooner than you would think. One of the comments I saw when talking about how it did for me, how I did on Sunday was... really spot on. It's something we've touched upon several times in the past. It feels like more often than not, the fish go by calendar more than they do water temperature. And we've seen that where we've been on a body of water. It's been like low to mid 40s. Mm-hmm. And it's like, they got to be out deep. They got to be over here, that like transition. But it's like at this point in the year and the fish are like, you can go to hell with whatever you thought. Regardless of water temp, it's like that time where I need to be in 5 feet of water and that's where I'm going to be. Mm-hmm. You have to keep an open mind when you go out there. Just keep that in mind.
Yeah. It's happened to us too many times where we're chasing those deeper fish and they're just not deep. They're just pushed up on the bank or literally on the bank. Like that one time we went to that one place that had that really good inflow and we were there and I saw that like 5-pound smallie cruising when you went to go get the trailer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we were fishing like 40 plus all day long and come up onto the boat launch, drop him off to go get the truck, and I just kind of spun the boat around and whoop, right in front of me, like a 4.5 to 5-pound smallie just cruising the flats. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me.
We were looking at the wrong spot all day. Mm-hmm. That's what time in the water will teach you, is instances like that where you really think previous time in the water has taught you everything until you finally come across a situation where it's like, damn, didn't even think of that. You learn, keep an open mind, and that's the thing. Like, so let's back it up for the perspective aspect of this. We just kind of lightly touched upon it, where we've learned our lesson from learning our lesson too many damn times. And I kept that in mind when I was out. I went up to northern Vermont myself Sunday. Pretty big body of water, gets relatively deep. And I wanted to go out for smallmouth, and I had a good hunch to be out deep. And as soon as I dumped the boat in, first 2 spots I looked, I marked plenty. I found the bait, and I found the bass, and they're all like 35 to 45 feet. And then I found what I thought was a bunch of smallies. It turned out I'm like 99% sure half the time it was trout, and the other half the time it was yellow perch. And I know for a fact that in a couple of instances it was yellow perch. Where you caught that 526, your PB smallie, the day you caught 2 5-pound smallies.
528.
Yeah, that one.
Yes, I know that spot very well.
Was rolling up to that, and I saw a wad of what looked like good fish in 65 feet. So this is a little bit of an outlier. I'm like, ooh, dropped the Demiki down, and 3 of them came up, and it looked like good size, and I just felt a little tickle in the Demiki rig. I set the hook, and like within a second, I'm like, nope, that's a perch. But I'm like, wait a minute, it's kind of heavy. Dude, it's a giant yellow perch. giant yellow perch.
I love catching giant yellow perch.
Oh my God, so much fun. But that deep water bite quickly changed. So knowing that we've made that mistake in the past, I put my ass up on the bank, and I went and I ran 3 different spots for about 2 hours, running super shallow, trying to make a largemouth pattern work. And I tried everything I had that I thought made sense, and a couple things that I was like, well, let's throw a prayer up and see what happens. And that didn't pan out either. But I still tried it because you just never know. So it's worth looking into when you go through that. Something to keep in mind.
Yeah, that really sparked DJ's interest. Is it really 52 and tie? Be there tomorrow.
Side note, because I like what Jody said, I'm trying to learn how to use perspective this spring, so I got to do a little tie time to learn, I think. I wholeheartedly agree. So I've had active target for a year and a half now. I've literally only used perspective mode once, and I would like to do that, but I have to get a different mounting bracket. I forget what the brand is that I have, but it's a 0 degree mount, and it's perfect for perspective, but I can't flip it into...
You need to get the Dominator mount.
Yes.
Dominator mount goes perspective and forward.
Yeah, so I'm always in forward. I need to be able to switch to perspective.
And it's a 0 degree mount, too.
Is that the one that Steve was telling me about when I stopped in that day? He showed me?
Most likely. We have them in stock at Bass Fishing Electronics in Auburn, New Hampshire.
BassFishingElectronics.com. There you go. I'm going to order one tonight, and you can just pick it up for me tomorrow.
Okay. Thanks. Oh, actually, I got some juicy news about... Okay, I'll tell you after.
Okay, well let's go to that after this.
No, I'm not on this.
That one, Jody, thank you. It's Fish Obsessed. That one is what I have, and I love it. It's great. So, all right, before we go any further, for everybody that is here, obviously, thank you very much, as always. Greatly appreciate it. Do me a favor, drop a like on the stream, whether you're watching here on YouTube or on Facebook. Doesn't matter. It helps immensely. If you're watching this after the fact, just go ahead, leave a like, comment, subscribe if you guys haven't done that yet as well. That's always helpful. Anybody listening on Spotify, which I've been pretty consistent with keeping up with that again, still in catch-up mode, but I'm getting caught up. Anybody who wants to leave a rating on that too, would greatly appreciate that as well. And I thank everybody that's doing that to help the channel out, because it really makes a huge difference. And then Brandon, you guys gonna make a trip up to Maine soon? I don't know about how soon, but absolutely yes, we'll be in Maine a lot this year. As much as we love Vermont, we've been there a lot the last 3 years. It's time to branch out, and we've been talking about Maine for the last 3 years. And him and I have not been there together yet. He went once without me, and I went once without him. Oddly enough, to the same pond.
Oh, yeah. That's right. The place is cool, right?
The place is awesome. I actually really want to go back. Whoa. Pittsburgh Angler. Just a heads up, guys. Don't wear floating bibs without a floating jacket. My mom fell out of the boat and almost drowned the other day because her legs floated, turning her upside down.
I always wondered if that's how it worked.
Yeah, I was thinking about that when I was fishing alone on Sunday, when I was wearing just my insulated floating bibs and nothing, not a floating jacket. Good to know. Thank you. And I'm glad nothing happened with your mom, that she was fine in the end.
Seriously, Jesus.
So, whoa, Dixie Fishing. I made the cover of the Fisherman Magazine New England edition. Hell yeah, man. Awesome.
That's sick.
Okay, what were you going to say? Juicy news?
Can't.
Is it in relation to somebody I know? Is it about you?
No.
What's it about?
I can tell you after the stream.
Laughter the stream?
After laughter. See?
Okay, fine.
I can tell you. No, I'm just kidding. I can't say it on the stream yet because I don't know if it's public.
Not about the guy that was asking me about GoPro stuff, right?
No.
Okay, cool.
No.
I did talk to him, by the way, today. So I got him.
Good.
I got
yeah.
like initial conversation. We were playing phone tag the last like 2 days.
Sweet.
Trying to get in touch to get that conversation going, but we're good on that. Oh.
It's good news.
Nice.
It's going to be sweet.
All right. I'm going to do my best to remember that for after the stream.
Okay.
I have finalized my tournament schedule too, but I don't know if anybody you care. So one of the things we were talking about last week, I was thinking about doing the ABA series. I can't, because I'm going to be at ICAST. I know, boohoo me. And this with schedule for everything. Oh, I got to remember. I got to talk to that guy too. I can't even do the tournament up on Champlain either, because I can do one or the other. I don't know. There's one thing left in question, but otherwise I'm sticking to the schedule. See y'all at the BFL in Oneida. It's my first one of the year. Then I'm going to turn my ass around, drive home, get maybe 4 hours of sleep to pick him up in the morning to go to Newfound for the tournament the next day.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be a great 1-2 day. Ideally, it's a 1-1.
Hopefully it's a win-win.
Damn right. Okay. Jody White, we care. All right. I wrote it down over there, but I can't see it. So now I need to find the photos.
Mr. Andrew Santiago. Go to the BFU website, the Bass Fishing Electronics website, and everything's priced out there.
Yes. And his website's awesome. He actually revamped it not too long ago. Not that there was anything wrong with it before, but it's definitely improved. So it's good. It's very easy to get around, find everything you need. And the search bar on the top always works great if you can't find it yourself quickly. So there's always that. All right, tournament schedule for this season. Saturday, June 29th, I'm going to fish the BFL in Oneida. That's a solo. Then turn it right around for Sunday, June 30th, the New Hampshire Bass Nation Open on Newfound. Andrew and I. Saturday, August 17th, the BFL on Champlain. That's another solo. Right now, tentatively planned, August 23rd, 24th, I'm going to fish the ABA Top 150 Solo Series on Champlain as well. What I'm most excited for of everything is September 14th and 15th, the New Hampshire State Team Qualifying Tournament up on Champlain. And we're really looking forward to finally being able to take a crack at that and see how it goes. And then last but not least...
That's us, right? Two people?
Wait, STQT?
Yeah.
No, I mean, if you want to fish as a non-boater, you can. But no, that's technically solo. So it's a random pairing.
Yeah, I know.
But it's all New Hampshire guys. You're going to get stuck with somebody you know.
True.
And more likely than not, 95% of the people that will be there are people you will literally know that you've met.
Oh, okay, cool.
So,
but I'm bad with faces and names, so names are I get. Faces, Well,
as far as I know, you can make the decision to do that very last minute. It's a Saturday, Sunday. It's out of Apple Marine up on South Hero, where we always launch out of.
Oh yeah.
So we'll literally be in the area that we know best.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that'd be fun. And then last but not least, Berkshire Fall Classic, yet again, October 12th and 13th. Andrew can't make it because he's got to go to a wedding.
And then
Andrew,
within the next couple days after, that's when I'm peacing out.
So long, farewell.
I'll be back to do the stream. I'll do the stream still. I'll still come on. I don't know when I'm going to set my computer up, but we'll figure it out. I'll probably have it set up within the first hour I get there for Rocket League.
I already know you. It's the first thing you set up. Jody, hell yeah, that's the Derby of the year. So when we were trying to figure out the whole tournament schedule this year, this is totally off topic, but I'm still excited to talk about it. There was the Newfound event and then Berkshire were the only two that him and I were planning on doing in the end. Once he really finalized his plans to move down south and realized what he needed for money. And then when he said he couldn't do it because he had a wedding to go to, I was like, I'm not going to do it. I can't imagine doing it without him. And he was like, you should still do it anyway. I'm like, maybe, I don't know. And then I was talking to Tom, Smallmouth Freaks, and I was like, you fishing that with anybody? He's like, no. I was like, we should fish it together. He's like, okay. So Tom and I are going to give a crack at it this year.
Jody Donation Invitational.
Yep, that's the one.
Pretty much. It's okay. We're all fishing for second.
Dogbone, Mike is actually here in the chat. So yes, we do know him. And we already congratulated him on that, which is awesome. All right, back on topic. So talked about the struggles, and a lot of those struggles have been led by the fact that our weather has been insanely inconsistent. And inconsistency isn't necessarily bad. It's the longevity of that little window of consistency followed by, but repeated in those like time periods going into inconsistency. You get like 3 or 4 days and it looks like, maybe 5, 6 days. It's like, oh, we're finally going to turn the corner. And then all of a sudden it's like, nope. And you get like another 4, 5, 6 days of cold weather. And then it swings back up. And you just kind of get like, it's not like you get a warm day, cold day, warm day, cold day. And that kind of equalizes. You get a trend going in one direction after a couple days, and then a trend going the wrong direction for a couple days. So it's like these real slow peaks and valleys. And it's just been a nightmare for the fish because it's not really making any movement. The moment we start trending in the right direction and it starts to give the fish like the, okay, here we go, then all of a sudden it shuts right down and it was pushing them right back out because the water temp dropped another 3 or 4 degrees in just a few days. And rinse and repeat. And it was like that for like 6, 7 weeks. Now we are finally on the outside of that. And we're starting to see consistency. Hopefully. Yeah, I know.
And then like
knock on wood.
in like a month we're gonna get 2 feet of snow.
Don't.
It happens. It's New England.
Yeah.
God, it got something in my eye.
Figure it out. Okay, let me circle back really quick. Boat Potato, STQT is out of Apple Marine, out of South Hero, which is awesome. Jody, I'm just trying to beat Ethan this year. Kid's getting dangerous. Dude, yeah. No, he's good. I actually, the pond, we all know, you and I, he was up there a couple weeks ago, and he sacked up a bag. Like,
really?
Yeah, dude. He had a 6-pound smallie in that.
Oh,
Yeah. And that was like, it gave me the thought. I was like, damn, either I don't necessarily want to say he got lucky because he definitely knows what he's doing and he's a hell of a stick, but timing wise, he was there at the right time too to really just make the most of the perfect opportunity. And that's why I went there Sunday. I was like, you know what? I think it's going to play nice for me. It did not.
it played.
It kind of played. I got 3 fish. It is what it is. I talked to several other people that were out there like the day before, the day after, that same day, and they're like, yeah, dude, that's exactly what we found too. So that made me feel a little bit better. It wasn't just me. It still sucks. It is what it is. Okay, back on topic. Now we're trending up. So what the hell does that mean and what should you be doing? At this point, I can confidently say that we're starting to see the transition of all those fish definitively out of their deep water haunts. You can probably still find some here and there, but the bulk are starting to move out and they're getting into either that next transition phase, vast majority of them, and quite a few of them are pushing up to the shallows as well. What are some of the best ways that you can take advantage of that to make the most of it? And we're talking about this coming up weekend. With the added caveat that, at least in New Hampshire, we're getting a ton of rain Thursday and especially Friday and a little bit more into Saturday. And that can be really, really, really good depending on what kind of body of water you go fish. You already know probably where I'm going to go Friday. With all that rain coming in, and warm rain for that matter, you know exactly where I'm going to go.
Yeah, I do.
I'm going to go for a small body of water that has a sizable inlet. Because at this point, especially in southern New Hampshire, there is no snow. All the snow is gone as of like Monday, basically. So at this point, any of that warm runoff that's coming in from the streams, it's going to be a warm runoff. And it's going to all condense into the stream and flood in. And everything in that inlet is going to be very, very warm. On the other side of that, if you have a very well-defined outlet, especially an area that's like kind of a shallow area leading up to that outlet, same deal. Windy days is going to pull all that warmer surface temp water. Yeah, something like that. And it's going to pull it all down. One of the things we found every spring is some of the warmest water has actually been down by the outlet on the southern end in most of these cases. Those are my first 2 areas of focus. Other than that, then I'm going to bounce around and find every good piece of shallow water structure I can and pick it apart, especially old lily pad beds. That's my go-to. Oh, yeah, there's that whole bottom shoreline I didn't even mention yet.
No, I was thinking about a whole different pond.
What?
No, I was like, I was just spacing out like usual. I was thinking about another pond with a big inlet. It's not far from here. It's only about 15 minutes from here. Where I caught my PB, just down the road from there.
I wouldn't necessarily call that a big inlet.
I would.
It's a culvert.
It's a river.
Yeah, but it comes through a tiny culvert. But no, fair point. Even though it's a tiny culvert, there's still a lot of water pressure coming out of that. F that pond.
I know.
F that pond.
I know. I've caught a lot of big fish out of there, though.
I have not.
I've caught so many 5s out of there.
I haven't caught one
without
over 4
even leaving the
there.
boat launch.
I know. I haven't caught one over 4 pounds out of there in like 20 years.
We'll go there.
No, we're not.
Stand right on the shore, and you will throw a glide bait, and you will catch a 5-pounder right off the launch. I promise you.
I forgot to pin this for people that want to find the There you go. Bass Fishing Electronics page.
And there was a comment, the big, really long one.
Yeah. Sorry, I wanted to grab that really quick.
Would you will have to actually contact Steve about the trade-in stuff. We're not allowed to deal with his money.
This is true, and I mean I'm familiar with it because I've done it myself. You really have to go see him, and he wants to see the unit, so you give it a very fair assessment of what the trade-in value is. So, inlets, outlets, shallow flats, especially vegetation around transition points from lightly, moderately deep water up to shallows. Like, those are all going to be areas of focus, and they're deadly consistent for us year after year after year. Let's talk techniques. What are you first reaching for? Not the big swim bait stuff. Start with traditional.
I'm not. Jerkbait.
Yes!
Jerkbait, any sort of bladed jig, chatterbait, or whatever, thunder cricket, or whatever the hell they have. Something moving, really.
Damn right.
Square bills, lipless.
Swim jig with a swim bait.
Yes.
There it is.
Swim bait with a swim jig attached to the front of it.
Spinnerbait. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth. I'm just
I'm
thinking
trying to think of
things
more
too.
now.
Because I know you're thinking of everything the same stuff that I am. I'm just trying to think of other things you didn't
Okay, let's
say.
get into the juice. Glide baits.
Yeah, big swim baits. If anybody is, I mean, anybody that's already big into throwing big swim baits, you already know. Like, you're about to hit one of the best times of the year to make that work. And I certainly know this is one of the best times of the year for me for throwing those. I've got this one Pats that's a black crappie that dives to like 4 feet, and it's like perfect for a couple of very, very, very specific spots that I've been dying to throw this thing in ever since I got it last year. I like literally had this bait in mind for this, like the next 3 or 4 weeks locally. And I'm extremely excited to do that. But I've got a couple other like big hard body crankdowns that I'm just going to do giant square bill. That's all you got to think about it as, giant square bill. And if you're getting into a good moving bait bite, then you have some crankdowns, you better start throwing them. You'll still catch 1-pounders on a 6 or 7 inch crankdown. But then all of a sudden you're going to stick a 4 or 5 or 6, 7. Like, that's your best chance to get a big boy. And then big soft body swim baits, the Defiant 210. If you're throwing like a Huddleston, you're throwing the working class 0 Citizen 6 or 7 or 9 inch if you were able to get one of those.
Or the Defiant 247.
The Defiant 247, big boy. Beast Coast Creep, which is like 6.5 inch. Any of those that if you need to throw a hook on it, like a weighted Beast belly hook, belly weight hook. Yeah. Anything like that. Like, some of my biggest fish have come in the spring the last several years throwing a big swim bait. Last year, my biggest fish of the year was 6 pounds, 11 ounces, and it was on a Citizen 6 from Working Class 0. Fishing it like just like a jig. And that's the other thing. For big soft body baits, you don't have to swim the things. You can literally drag them on the bottom like a jig. And he was the one that got me to be confident in doing that, and it resulted in the second biggest fish I've ever caught.
It's just a giant jig that looks like a fish.
Yep.
So, looks like a... I was going to say, it looks like a... It looks like a stupid fish doing this on the bottom.
I'm dying. I'm still alive. I'm not dead.
Oh, I'm inside of a mouth.
So, and that I'm curious if anybody like that's like a diehard swim bait guy hears us say that, work it like a jig, and then they're like, that's stupid.
No,
I don't care. The one thing that's most important to remember when working any new bait, if you can make the connection of how to make it work similar to something else, and that gives you confidence in doing it, roll with it. To hell with what anybody else says. Because if you made that connection and you're like, and it's, yep, I understand that, I can make that work, or at least I can try.
I mean, we have legit freaking video evidence of it working. So
Often.
catching big fish.
Yep. So
Just don't throw it behind a rock.
You did fine that day when that happened.
Yeah, but it was terrifying. I didn't think I was going to get the fish. I had to wait for the fish. I tossed the Citizen 6 behind the big rock.
That was Citizen 7.
Was it?
Yeah. That was that old blue one I had. That was one of the first ones I ever
yeah.
got. I had that for years.
Citizen 7, my bad. Threw it out behind this big rock, and I've just lifted up, and I felt thunk. I'm like, oh no, it's behind the rock. So I was literally sitting there waiting, and then all of a sudden it came out, and boom, one of the hardest freaking hook sets. Hand flies off the reel.
It was glorious.
It was sick. It was
We have that video somewhere on the channel. I think it was a short. I don't think I put it up as a regular upload. I think it was just like a YouTube short, like a reel. It was awesome though. You're right, because you went from like here and your both hands got to here, and then this hand just kept going because that one didn't stop. And you're like,
yeah, dude.
So we got to
so
elaborate
much fun
on the big swim baits. The first thing you touched upon was jerk bait, and this gives me an opportunity to address Boat Potato's comment first before we talk about what we're doing with jerk baits right now for this next transition, that period. It's Boat Potato, in everyone's opinion, who makes the best smelt colored jerk bait. I will say one of my favorite ones is from Jackal, and I need to. It's a Jackal Squad Minnow, I think.
Squad Minnow. Oh yeah.
Those are all Jackal re-ranges. Do they not make
that? Still looks really good.
Squad Minnow? They do make the Squad Minnow. What was the color? Bear with me. It was one of the first ones my buddy ever told me about, and I still use it to this day. Ghost Minnow. I love it. It's good. There's a little bit of orange on this. It's like the exact same one
that I've been throwing.
Yep. It is, for me, for smelt up here, I love it. It's phenomenal. And then, funnily enough, Jody, 100% agree, because that's the other one I go with. The Lucky Craft Ghost Minnow is also a great smelt color. They're more brown than you think. Mm-hmm. Yep. Those are my go-tos, my two go-tos. Those are the ones I actually, out of all my Mega Bass jerkbaits I have, when it comes to smelt, I don't really go with them. I go with either the Jackal or the Lucky Craft. And Lucky Craft makes both are great. Jackal's great, but the Lucky Craft are also really, really, really good.
Yes.
The Pointer SPs, phenomenal.
And if you don't want to spend a whole bunch of money on jerkbaits, you can always go with the Berkeley Cutter 90s or 110s, and they work fantastic.
Yep.
I've caught I wouldn't say I've caught the majority of my jerkbait fish on those. I would have to say.
I can't say that.
Over years, though.
I still can't say that. Mega Bass Vision 110 has caught the majority of my jerkbait fish.
Actually, yeah, you're probably...
You might be up there now, because it's been a while that we've been fishing those almost exclusively.
I know.
For no other reason other than just extreme confidence in them, and their color, the range of color options they have, in my opinion, are second to none. There's plenty of other companies out there that make like better versions of something in particular, but if you wanted to pick one brand, one model that gave you like the widest range of color options, it is really, really hard to beat Mega Bass. That's usually where they excel at. So covered all that, but what are you doing? Cadence, more than anything, because that's like obviously the most important thing people need to or want to learn and understand, especially now that like we know they've moved up and they're roaming the outside edge.
They're really on like a spring bite, you're going to want to move that thing pretty quick. Like shorter pauses, 3 to 5 seconds, 4 to 5 twitches. I don't want to say jerks because it's weird.
Jerk.
4 to 5 jerks. And then, repeat until you stop. Or it could be the opposite. It all depends on the day. Whether you're out there and it's cold and windy, you definitely still want to slow it down a little bit. Or when it's sunny and dead slick, you may want to slow it down a little bit. I've had days where it's sunny and slick, and my biggest fish on a jerkbait was a 6-pounder. It was dead slick calm. Water temp was probably maybe 50, maybe. It was in the late fall with Kristen.
Oh yeah, 6'6",
and I was
6'3".
What?
This is the weight of the bass.
I was just 6 pound even.
Oh,
but I was ripping that freaking jerkbait in 50-degree water, and it came out of nowhere and absolutely trucked it and tail walked in front of the boat like it was alive. So don't be afraid to go super fast, and don't be afraid to go super slow, and everything in between.
Yep. I try to vary my cadence a little bit, but pretty much all the same as what he's talking about. I usually just kind of do like 1, 2, 3 with little pauses in between, like each of those cracks. It's kind of like crack, 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 pause, pause, crack, crack, pause, repeat. So usually a 3-2 cadence, and every once in a while working just like a 1. And one of the things Andrew really figured out last year too, that in some instances, if the water's still a little bit colder wherever you go, but you're really confident they're going to key in on a jerkbait, at the end of a pause, instead of going to crack it again, slowly reel it, or just use the rod tip and slowly pull it forward. And we saw that work exceptionally well on days where it's like, even days where the bite shifted midday. They were fishing wicked aggressive first thing in the morning. You just go crack, crack, and then they'd slap it. And then all of a sudden the bite kind of died. And having the benefit of forward-facing sonar, it's like, well, okay, well, let's really stare at it for a second and see if we can tell what happened. And Andrew's like, oh, I'm pretty sure what I've been doing the last few fish was I just started slow reeling it, and that's what's getting it to bite. And the moment we can actually see that happen, it was like, get it out there, and it's like, crack, 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 nothing. And then Andrew's like, well, crack, crack, slow reel. Poof. So
it worked.
Change up a little bit. And it's phenomenal. But I did see Brandon Wood. Do you guys like slow sinking sometimes or only suspending? Colder water, slow sinking. Love it. Especially when you're working out deeper. Like, and not even that deep. Like, we were actually doing, we had that one good day where we were getting them pretty good local spot. We had like 4 or 5 each, almost all in the jerkbait. And both of us had the way our jerkbait setup was at that time, both of our jerkbaits were slowly, very excruciatingly slowly sinking.
I believe that was from the line sinking.
Correct.
Because I was waiting, I was bombing it out. I'd get it down to a depth where it was like if you were 5 feet down, it would rise. But if you were down like 6 to 8 feet, it would suspend. And the fish were down towards the bottom at like 10 to 12 feet. So what I would do, I was wait really long in between twitches, and the line you have the bait, and the line would sag down because the floor was going to sink. And then you give it a twitch, and it brings it way down. So it brings it right in front of their face when they're sitting on the bottom.
Yep. More often than not, I prefer it suspended, but everything he said is good. Especially when the water, again, is like still a little bit colder. And we were finding that mostly like low 40s. But if the water's going to be up closer to 50, give me a pure suspending one so I can really crack it and keep it in front of their face the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what I want to catch a lot of fish on this weekend. At this point,
I just want to catch a damn fish.
Exactly. I just want to catch a lot of fish. I don't care what it is. If I could pick, it's still A-rig is still going to be number one. And we can touch upon that in a minute. But closely followed behind that is like a good jerkbait bite when they're aggressive on it.
Yeah.
I mean...
Yeah. That or spy bait.
Yeah.
Because I like spy baits.
They're both fun. Getting thumped in a jig, awesome. Getting stopped dead in your tracks on a spinnerbait or a swim jig or a bladed jig, still great. Nothing better than feeling crack, crack, there goes the rod the other way. That is so much fun. Mm-hmm. But that's still... not compared to the violence of an A-rig bite. It's... I can't explain it.
Oh, God!
Yeah. And every fish feels like a giant. And we're not throwing these giant A-rigs when we're doing it. Throwing the Flash Mob Junior. It's not that big of a rig. I'm using really light heads on all 5 arms. Cut the hook off on 3, therefore it's legal in Vermont and New Hampshire. If you read the laws, they don't specifically say it's not illegal anymore.
They changed it.
They did. Going by the letter of the law, they are legal in New Hampshire. So, take it or leave it. It's my interpretation of it. And it's just, again, it's not that heavy. And you'll just get trucked. And usually, like, when it's a big fish, you can tell more quickly than not. But I swear to God, those fish, every fish fights 10 times harder when they bite an A-rig than anything else. Because you hook into a 2.5 and you'll think you've got a 5. And it's amazing. God, is it so much fun.
We're also pulling an umbrella up. And the fish. So it's always going to feel like a big fish, and it's always a good fight.
Yep.
Because you got to think, the fish is bit on one bait, and it has 4 others smacking it in the face. So it's trying to get away twice as hard.
True. All right. Well, let's touch on it, man. Mark, is there any reason to throw an A-rig in New Hampshire with only one hook? When the A-rig craze first broke out around 2011... New Hampshire Fish and Game specifically put up on their website a page dedicated specifically to the Alabama rig / umbrella rig. I believe is what they were calling it. But at the very least, they were calling it the Alabama rig. And in that release, they defined it as an apparatus, therefore is not subject to their normal fishing laws. And as such, you can only have one hook on it because it was defined as an apparatus, not a lure. That disappeared.
Yeah, we literally
scoured the
one
internet
day
for
I was
hours.
just like, you know what? I want to see if it's actually illegal. So I was because I had looked it up, and like he said, they said it's an apparatus. So I went on and I looked back. This was 6-8 months ago, and I looked and I could not find that anywhere on the New Hampshire Fish and Game website or any other website, and so technically it's not illegal.
Correct. By the letter of the law, for everything the New Hampshire Fish and Game has posted, it still only explicitly states 2 hooks per line. By that reasoning, you're allowed to throw an A-rig with as many arms as you want on it, as long as it only has 2 hooks. Simple as that. And if they want to change it, they can change it. There's going to be a fight coming if they do, because I don't think it's right that they did that to begin with. It is what it is. And, yep, Kevin, Jody already beat me to it. A-rig in the mid-40s? For sure. I think that mid-40s and up, more than anything, it's not just the, like, blanket statement, mid-40s works. It's the trend warming up to mid-40s. Because, I trust me, I threw it a little bit. Actually, I threw it a lot of bit on Sunday.
Did you?
But, yeah, water was 42 to 43. And, like, it was early in the morning, and they were kind of reacting a little bit stronger than I expected them to. So, it's like, and I found one school, I'm like, I got to try. And I had one with all white and one with all perch, and I threw that out there, and I couldn't get any of those fish to look at it. But I know that, like, right now, if you're getting that warming trend, that water is hit 45, and it's been hanging there at least, and you know it's starting to go up, that, to me, that's go time. That's when you got to start throwing it. Mm-hmm. And I did see, so Brandon, favorite brand, A-rig, and best swimbait heads to put on it. I've only used the
Flash Mob Junior and the Defiant jig heads.
Yes. Dude, those Defiant jig heads are wicked good. Although I was talking to Derek, and he said that the new Spinbait sleds, because he's got a whole range of hook sizes and the heads, he said they work really, really good on A-rigs too. So I was like, all right, well, so we're getting some. They're coming.
Okay.
So I'm willing to try it. But the new Defiant jig heads, phenomenal. If you don't want something lead, and I mean really anything, it doesn't matter. For me, I want a stout hook. I don't want something super light duty. So I want something like a BKK or a Mustad or a Gamakatsu. And I'm trying to think, there was another brand, Picasso, I think. I'm not sure what hooks they use, but they've got like a good swim jig head. I just want something streamlined. Ideally, I want a 60-degree line tie on the eyelet versus a 90, but you can make a 90-degree work. I've caught plenty of fish doing that. So you could literally just get away with the Kitech tungsten ball head jigs if you wanted to. You can find those anywhere. The hooks aren't quite as stout as I would like. And then as far as baits go,
but we also set the hook like Mark McGuire, so
this is true. But they hit so hard, and they fight extra hard, and they've got the weight of the whole rig to work to their advantage. So for me, like, I want something that it's got a good barb on it, it's got a stout hook. So when I set it, it's staying in. Trying to think. So for baits, I mean, Kitechs can't go wrong. One of the things I really liked recently was the Beast Coast slow flows, and I'll do on all of my dummy hooks, I'll do the 2.85s, and on the real hooks, I'll put the 3.8s. Because I with a 5-arm rig with the Yum, it's like a 4-point, and then one in the middle that sticks out a little bit longer. I actually don't get bit on that middle one as much as I do get bit on the 2 bottom ones.
I always put them on the 2 bottom ones.
That's what I do. And so what I'll do is I put all my smaller baits on the dummies, and I put the 2 bigger baits on the real hooks. Because I figure if a fish is going to come up and they're going to see that, they're always going to go for, like, you see a whole school, and it's going in, it's going to eat. It's going to pick the bigger meal off. And I would say 90 to 95% of our bites, even with only 2 hooks, always gets, 90-95% of those bites gets one of the real hooks. You can even dip the tail a little bit if you want.
If you want.
If you want.
If you want.
Sure does help.
Once in a while.
Gordy, too early for an underspin? Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Our buddy Dennis lives and dies by the underspin this time of the year, and he does exceptionally well. You know Dennis. Dennis has been in there quite a bit.
Denisovich.
Denisovich. So, Boat Potato, has anyone ever asked a ward about A-rigs? We did ask a New Hampshire Fish and Game biologist when we had him on the show a couple months ago now at this point, and he couldn't answer for certain. No, I'm not going to say that because I don't want to put words in his mouth if I don't remember correctly. What I do want to do, I've reached out asking like who could I talk to, because there's like actually a couple things that I would like to get an actual fish and game officer on to ask him about. This one being primary amongst them. I just need to find somebody at Fish and Game that would be interested in coming on the show. So like I'm not necessarily nervous, but like a little leery of reaching out and like maybe hitting the wrong guy that's like not even remotely interested in coming on. But trust me, it's on the radar. We need to get it done. A-rig for largies in the spring? I mean, I would say yes.
Yes.
How many large? Actually, we've caught a fair number of largies, but much more smallies than
A lot
largies.
more smallies, but that's also because we were targeting smallies when I'm using it.
Truth. Might have to switch up just a little bit. We go up to Champlain. You still gonna come?
May?
Yeah.
I believe so.
Okay. Just making sure you didn't change plans.
No.
Good. We're gonna go crack them.
I want to fish. I mean, doing plenty of fishing down there, but I still want to do some fishing up here.
Yep. Okay. No, Mark, we already answered that, so that's good. Hey, Mike, thanks for joining. Mark, the Yum one is nice with the Scottsboro tackle swim baits. Is an easy way to go. There you go. Perfect. I like it. Bo Potato, G-Funk making a great 2-hook rig. So it's weird. We've thrown several iterations of like 3-armed rigs with 1 hook and 2 hooks. Can't get bit on it to save my life. On days that like we know it works. Can't get bit on it. I don't understand. I think having all 5 makes a significant difference in...
Because the bass know that smelt and perch only travel in at least a group of 5.
Imagine this big 8-pounder coming up behind it. Oh, yeah. Wait. 1, 2, 3. Oh, fuck that. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, yeah, here we go.
Yeah, let's do this. My mom says the fishing game guys at the McDowell Dam in Peterborough are great.
There we go.
So
Thank you, Carla. We will have to ask. Jody, VMC Boxer is a great umbrella head, and I think kind of cheap. Scottsboro makes a really nice one with a screw lock in good sizes. The new Beast Coast head should be pretty prime for it. Hook is honestly stout. That's the one thing that Beast Coast never skimps on is a good damn hook. Mm-hmm. Every hook on everything they make is stout. That's what I love about them. Wow, holy crap. Guys are going off in the chat, and I love it. Just want to make sure. Oh, this is perfect. You guys prefer braid or fluorocarbon for throwing an A-rig?
I like...
Yeah, no, you hesitated. Don't hesitate. You had the right answer.
I know, but I do both.
And what happened when you did both, Andrew?
I do straight floral.
Let's now, what lesson did we learn and why did we learn it?
And I don't even know how my leader knot broke. No, I didn't. Actually, no, I actually didn't break the leader knot.
No?
The leader actually just broke.
Really?
Yes, because I set the hook on a giant smallmouth and it broke. And we know it's a giant because it jumped right next to the boat.
It was at least 5. It was 5 all damn day. Because I saw it coming up on the active target because he broke it off deep. And I looked down and because I caught it on peripheral, I'm like, oh my God, she's coming up. 5 feet from in front of me. She came up, tried to toss her head a little bit, then rolled right side up, sat there for a second, then went back down. So I got as good a look at her as possible. Dude, she was long, she was fat. Straight floral. I would say, shut up, Jody. I bet it's 4.5.
What do you say? I'll get to You're probably right.
I prefer straight floral on it. Like, yeah, you could go braid. I did see Aaron. He made a really good point. Braid wraps easy on the head. That does happen even with fluoro. It's hard to get around it. But I like straight fluoro, and I throw
fluoro still wraps too. So
yep. Defiant, soft casting, 23.6 pound fluorocarbon. I really, really like that line for that application. I like that for that and like all of my 9-inch plus size baits. Something that's really, really heavy because it's with the soft casting, it's got a little bit of extra stretch to it. It's not stretchy like mono, but it's not as stiff as like the Defiant heavy cover.
It's like Invizix.
Yeah, pretty much. It's not stiff like Red Label or Brazix. It's like Invizix. It's got a little extra give. And I like that when I'm throwing, the big A-rig or like literally anything that's really heavy. And out of all my swim baits and stuff that compared to the A-rig is the lightest out of all of them. Compared to the Defiant 247, my Shad Glide was 9.5 inches. My depth's 250. But like I want just a smidgen of give on all those things. One, for if I screw up my thumb slips on the cast, I've got a little bit of added like kind of safety measure in that. I'm not going to snap it off immediately. Did you say 26 pound? 23.6. I have thrown it on 20 pound. You can do it. It makes me a little nervous.
It's fine on 20 pound. It's not really that heavy. I used to throw a depth 250 on 20 pound.
That you did.
That was fine.
I mean,
an A-rig really isn't that heavy. It's just robust.
True. And the Flash Mob Junior is not that big. I think all said and done, I think it's 2.5 ounces. Then by the time you add your baits and all your jig heads, you're maybe at 3.5 ounces.
Yeah.
So it's not too bad.
20 pounds mint.
Mark, I refuse to go above 23.5. God damn it.
Damn it, Mark.
Okay, wow. All right, so we covered big swim baits, we covered jerk baits, and especially, I mean, to reiterate again, points that we're looking at really depends on the body of water you are fishing and how deep it is overall. If you're looking at some of these smaller bodies of water, like average depth is 20 feet or shallower, move up to like 5 feet to start. If you get out there this weekend, that would be my starting point, anywhere from like 5 to 10 feet. And I'll be looking around anywhere that is either inlet or an outlet. If you can find timber later in the day, rock piles that are close to timber or those flats, and especially vegetation. Anywhere you can get around that grass, I think is going to be like huge key. And especially if you start getting some good wind blowing and it's been pretty consistent, like that's the one thing I haven't looked at this week is what's the wind going to be doing and what direction it's going to be blowing. If it's blowing consistent for the next few days, wherever, if you know of a body of water that's got really good vegetation, both out a little bit deeper and like dead lily pad patches from the year before, and the wind's blowing into that, that's the other area I'd be focusing in on. All right. So before we move forward, there's one more.
I got something. Alec, that was not on 20 pound fluoro. That was on 100 pound braid to 44 pound leader. 40,
yeah, the 44-ish pound shock leader.
Yes.
And then Mark, you throw that A-rig on a heavy flipping stick? No, I primarily throw it on the Douglas.
I throw mine on the 805.
I think I'm on the 804F. I need to double check. But I think
I threw mine on the 805F.
Because the 805 is one that's like heavy. Yeah. Heavy.
It's not super heavy, but those rods are so like...
No, you're right. Sorry, we're both on the same thing. The other one I'm thinking of is the 807. So...
No, that's my big bait rod.
Yeah. So the Douglas rods, X Matrix, DXC 805F. It's an 8-foot rod. It's fast. It's rated 3 to 7 ounces. The only downside of that is the grip on it is a little bit shorter than I would like, but it's not bad.
Not the new one.
But not the new one.
The new one is actually a detachable handle, which I was not a super fan of until I got one. That thing is not going anywhere. Like, I tried pulling it off. There's no way of getting it off.
Prior to that, I threw it on the Lew's Super Duty rods, the 1 to 4 ounce models, at 8-foot extra heavy fast, I think is what it was. Rated 1 to 4 ounces. I will say I ended up actually breaking one of those rods on an A-rig, the same one as the Flash Mob Junior. So I'm not sure if something happened to the rod because I didn't think that was really going to be possible. I wasn't overloading it, but it snapped on the cast. It happens. I threw it on the next one up on Lew's Super Duty, the 4 to 10 ounces. Never had a problem with that. I still have that rod as well. But that DXC 805F and the LRS series, they have the same thing. You can always do that one as well. Those are awesome. Absolutely awesome rods. And I really like it. They load up better than the Lew's rods. Like even with a really heavy weight. And that was the thing that was most like pleasant about those, especially you with the 807F. When you put your 250 on it, and it was like throwing a 3/4 ounce football jig on any of your jig
rods.
Like
it felt like throwing a Senko. It was just like, shoo.
Yep.
Whoa, that's different. It's so nice. They're not like, I can't even explain it. They're just good.
They are really good.
All their rods are good. Their swimbait rods are fantastic. I love them.
All their rods are phenomenal. So how far down that Lew's rod break from the tip? You were there. What was that, like 3 or 4 guides down? Like, yeah, you broke down pretty far.
I honestly, to be completely honest with you, I don't remember.
Okay, that's fine. It was.
I think I got another concussion yesterday.
It was like that far from the tip. It was a pretty extensive part, or significant part of the rod that broke off. What type of action do you like with an A-rig rod? Like fast. It's every rod I've thrown on has been fast, heavy and fast, or medium heavy in this case for the Douglas rod. But I want backbone, and I don't really want too much on that tip to be too soft. I want it to be fast and really get the hook set on it and just haul her in. It's good. Love it. Okay, so we talked about A-rigs, talked about big swim baits, talked about jerk baits, bladed jigs we didn't cover yet. Cadence, where people should be throwing them.
Bladed jigs?
Yep.
Grass, submerged points, rocks, in the water, freaking everywhere.
Chuck them. I would still say Firecraw is probably still going to play right now. That bite usually doesn't die off until the water hits like mid-50s, and then it's like flipping a switch. That color just dies. But it's not the only color you can throw right now. Black with a blue flake, like all the way through on everything on it. It still works great. Any other natural colors are still good. Firecraw, like, dude, when it's on, I don't know what it is, but every year there will be several days where it outfishes every other color combination we throw, and it's like not even close. And it's not like that's all we're throwing for that day, because I'll pick it up, I'll start throwing it, he will not. He'll pick up a different color, and in most cases, I'll have another one tied on with a completely different color. And that Firecraw was just still kick the crap out of everything else we're throwing. Mm-hmm. I don't get it, but it works great.
It does. I don't understand it, but it works.
What's your favorite trailer on it for a bladed jig?
Honestly, I forget what it's called, but it's just, there's no tail to it. It's just,
the Blade Runner from Beast Coast?
Well, that too, obviously.
There's that one. There's
that one, and there's
the Z-Man. I know what you're talking about. The goat or whatever.
There's the goat. Is it Seiko? Or?
Yeah, Yamamoto Seiko.
Seiko.
I believe is the one you're thinking of.
Those are good too.
Those are very good.
And the Spunk Shed? Is that what it's called? What the fuck is that thing? Oh.
How dare.
My bad.
Spunk Shad, Bo Potato, and Brandon, and Gordy, and Massing and Bassing.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
Freedom. Maybe you should look up.
And Dan.
And Dan. Spunk Shad.
Sure. Maybe that's the one.
Call me crazy. All of those are great, and I love them, and I still throw them all. There's something a little bit off the beaten path. Kitech, good. Not as good as I would like it.
No, it's not.
Miyagi. Beast Coast Miyagi.
Oh, yeah.
4.75 inch swim bait.
That's like the best one.
Dude, it's a big profile, but if you are getting into them with a bladed jig and you have something bigger like that, like especially specifically a Miyagi, throw it on. You will get into a bigger class of fish. If you're out there cracking them, you're getting like ones and twos, and maybe threes left, right, and center, but they won't leave it alone. Throw on a bigger profile. Like, that's literally been the difference between being stuck in the 2 and 3 range all day and then all of a sudden getting into a 4 to 5. Just throwing something big on like that. And then Flippin' Delight from Beast Coast Fishing is also really good for something that's a little bit more compact, but like short, compact, but bulky overall. And Strike King Rage Craw is always really, really good too. That's got a lot of action on the swim. And you turn it vertical. Legs top to bottom.
I have one to look at.
Grab it. Holy crap, where was it? Oh, that one. Just click anywhere.
That one.
Brandon, how serious are you when it comes to the max ounces of a rod needing to know just got a 9-ounce glide?
Yes.
We'll go over that.
You need the DXC 807F from Douglas. That is rated 6 to 14 ounces. That's what I throw all my big baits on. All my big baits, like the Gantcraft 303. I don't even remember how many ounces that is. I think that's close to 9.
That's a heavy bait.
8.5, 9, something like that. It's a 12-inch bait. And it slings them just fine. Like, absolutely no problem. Up to 14 ounces, you're pretty much right in the middle there. That's a great rod for you.
And I was just making sure there wasn't anything in here. Oh, Alex came second in a tournament this last weekend, throwing the Beast Coast Alewife swimbait. Hell yeah, man. It's awesome. Good job. Congrats. Oh, yeah. 20% off at Omnia. But if you guys want to go down to Ben's Tackle Shack in Leicester, Mass, or online at benstackleshack.com, they also carry everything Beast Coast. You get everything you need from them there. So, I know, I covered everything. The Miyagi. That's my thing. We go out there, and like I promise you right now, we go out there this weekend. I had, actually, not this past Sunday, the weekend before, I went out, and I was really confident it was going to be either a jig or jerkbait or jackhammer. And then I had some other stuff tied up on spinning rods as like backup just in case, like Ned rig and whatever. But I literally brought 3 rods with jigs, 3 rods with different jerkbaits, and 3 rods with different jackhammers. I had 9 casting rods on my deck, and it was just 3 variations of 3 different baits. And I can guarantee you that's exactly what we're going to have rigged up and ready for when I go out there this Sunday. Wait, no, not if we go to that place. Totally different story. If I was going somewhere shallower for largemouth, oh, dude, 100%. That's all I'm going to do. And I would back off the jigs a little bit. I'd do 1 jig rod. And with the other 2 jig rods, because I can make them work for that, I'd throw a swim jig with a swim bait on one and a spinnerbait on the other. So I go 3 different bladed jigs, swim jig, spinnerbait. Because I really am that confident on these smaller bodies of water. If they get as warm as I think they did the last few days, especially with this warm rain coming up, a lot of these places are probably going to be touching low 50s, and dude, it's going to be game on. And you just be able to go out there and absolutely crack them. If it's not this week, it's got to be next week. Because, God damn it, I don't know how many times we can say it's coming. It's got to be within the next 3 weeks. Within the next 3 weeks, you guys should be absolutely freaking hammering them. Sooner than later, it's going to have to happen. Perfect question. Bassing. You ever put a Miyagi in a swim jig? Yes, absolutely. That one's a little bit tougher. You have to glue it. Because it's like this. The Miyagi alone is just heavy enough that I haven't found a swim jig yet that's got a good enough bait keeper that it keeps it on. Like, that's what I like about the jackhammer. Or, well, actually, you know what? You could use, I'm trying to think, you could use the little Magnum from Beast Coast Fishing. Because that's got that same double wire bait keeper as you find on a jackhammer. And that's the only thing on the jackhammer that I found that actually keeps that bait on, that it can't tear itself off. So, there's nothing wrong with using little Magnum as a swim jig.
Take a jackhammer, take the blade off.
No, don't do that.
Or
3/8 jackhammer, why not? All right, little Magnum.
Yeah, do that one.
I predict sometime before July the fishing will be good. Yes, Jody, I wholeheartedly agree. Massing and bassing. Which swim jig? Dude, the working man swim jig from Beast Coast is all I use. I don't need to look at much more than beyond that. Obviously, yes, they're a sponsor. So I am more inclined to look at them first. But there's a couple of baitsmen that I don't fish because I just don't have the confidence in them. That working man swim jig is phenomenal. I don't need to look at anything else. He's got the weights I need, and he's got the colors that I need. Price is phenomenal. You can't beat it. I don't need to look at anything else. They're just phenomenal. And he's got the Gorilla swim jig, too, if you really want to go like hard with a big swim jig. And I throw those quite a bit as well. But that working man one is much more my style, and I do really, really well with that. Bow potato. I believe silver buddies are actually illegal in New Hampshire. Not sure, though. Technically, they are.
So then so are jerkbaits.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, no, because the lead is contained within the bait, and the bait itself is over an inch long.
Yeah, but what if it's not made of lead? What if it's a tin bismuth mix?
Oh, then it's legal.
Yeah.
I thought you just said jerkbaits were technically illegal.
Well, it's got 9 hook points on it.
Oh, I think you were talking about the lead aspect.
Oh, I know.
Oh.
I was just throwing in my 2 cents.
You know what? I'm not going to miss you when you go to Florida.
I know.
Shut up.
You, dude, you got me with a dad joke last night out of nowhere, and I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. Dick.
Ah, it was great. All right, so one of the things we talked about earlier, too, for baits you be throwing right now, lipless. Granted, our success with it has not been as great the last few years, but prior to the last few years, holy hell, one of the best spring, like early spring baits you can throw. So yes, we are throwing them, Andrew. and highly recommend them. I don't throw them nearly as much as I used to because, again, I just haven't had the luck. But every spring, I'll tie one on, and I'll try and make it work. Keep it stupid simple. Like, that is what I really, really like throwing around slightly deeper grass. There's one pond in particular, and it's got the swim areas and all that vegetation out in the middle of nothing.
Sorry, what?
Local pond.
Yes.
Stuck 2 6s there 2 years
Yes.
or whatever. One of the days with Jared.
Yes.
All that deeper vegetation. It's like 8 feet out there. And there's a lot of area where that vegetation right now only comes up to about 3 or 4 feet off the bottom.
Yeah.
Those are the areas I look for a lipless. Because they're like, especially if they're really kind of closer to shallower water areas where they know they're going to be, but you've got that really, really good vegetation that's still kind of sporadic, and you've got a couple of feet off the bottom of it, but you've got several feet over the top of that. Like, to me, that's some of the best areas to throw it. Because we want that to hit the grass and get stuck, to pop it out. And that's when we're getting most of our strikes right now this time. When that water is getting closer to 50, lipless is like, dude, when they're on it, and it's phenomenal. And for years, going back up until about 3 or 4 years ago, like, that was the bait that everybody I knew was catching their biggest fish on right now. There's still plenty of people that do that, just not me. I don't know what I've started doing differently that I can't make it work, but I tell you, when I do make it work, that's almost how every single fish is caught for both of us. Just kind of slow rolling it, pumping a little bit, just kind of get it to kind of have a nice little rhythm as it's come through. As soon as you hit that grass, just pause, and then a little rip to pop it out, and just start reeling fast, because if there's a fish there, they're going to slam it. Mm-hmm. Hey, Jerry, it's not that cold up here anymore. You can't use that joke.
It's still freaking cold.
It's not that cold. Shut up.
It's 40s.
It's 53 right now.
No, it's not.
No, it's 45. I lied. Tomorrow's going to be 53.
It's still not high enough.
You're not high enough.
Not yet.
Demonetized. What else did we mention that we didn't talk about? To talk about cadences and color options and everything. Swim jig, swim bait. We didn't talk about that. Well, swim jig in general. What you want to throw on the back of that, totally up to you. How much of that have you really fished?
What?
Swim jig. With any kind of trail on your back. I feel like that's more me.
It's more you, but if I do it, I'm going to throw a big trailer on the back of it.
Pretty much.
Big Kitech or one of the Miyagi's.
Kitech, Miyagi. Sometimes I will do a craw trailer, like
But
Flip and Delight.
I cut the head off of the Miyagi, and I shave it. Remember
round out that profile a little bit.
Round out the profile, because if you cut it, it's just like a hard stop on the front of the bait. So you want to...
No, I don't have any over there. Basically, use scissors and kind of like round out, instead of cutting it flat, so it's a perfect 90. You just start kind of trimming around the sides of it, so you bring it to a more like rounded profile on the nose.
Say this is the Miyagi. Cut the head off. Now it's flat right there. You want to take some scissors and kind of make it round again. And then it's a smaller but bulkier presentation.
With the added benefit of having that bigger boot tail on there. So you've taken a 4 3/4 inch bait, turned it into like a 3.5 inch. So you're really just doing that to get the benefit of the thump and size of a tail from a 4 3/4 inch bait, just in a compact form. That's really, really good. Man, what the hell? It's on the tip of my tongue. Reaction Innovation Skinny Dipper. That was my go-to swim jig trailer for years. Wicked, wicked good baits. And the price was right. I haven't used them in a long time, though. So sometimes I do Kitechs. I like the snack packs from Crazy Hick Bait Company. Those are phenomenal. Those have actually been my go-to for a while. What's that? X-Zone? The Swammers? If memory serves correct. Those are really, really good.
I don't remember the name of baits.
I'm positive that's what that is. Oh, man. Like, use your imagination. There really is no wrong answer when it comes to a swim jig with any sort of trailer in the back. I go to that when I know that, like, I'm getting fish up shallow, and especially in vegetation. I'm going to keep coming back to talking about those lily pad patches. Like, that is one of my favorite things to do. When I know all the bait fish and the bass are pushed up there, generally all the spots that I have that have, like, extensive lily pad patch spots, there's less than a foot of water over the top. And you're going to get hung up on that with pretty much anything you throw. Like, bladed jig would be best, but you get hung up in that crap way too easily. Spinnerbait, also really good, but they don't always want to eat that. So next best thing is like a 1/4 ounce swim jig head with like a 3.5 to 5 inch trailer on the back. Give them something big, something light, and just slow roll it right through there. 99% of the time, I literally just cast and retrieve. I'm not doing anything else with it. I'm just swimming it through like the most highest probability areas for that. And I got to tell you, my 3 go-to baits that have consistently put 5+ pounders in my boat, it's been a jig, a swim jig with a swim bait on the back, and a jackhammer. And until 2 years ago, the number 2 on that list was a swim jig with a swim bait on the trailer.
For largies.
For largies. Smallies, we never actually really tried it. Like, very rarely have we tried doing that for them.
I throw a spinnerbait down in 55 feet.
No, swim jig, specifically.
I know, but I just
Spinnerbait.
I did that.
And you almost got bit.
I know.
Oh, dude. It's been a few years, but my God, have I had some magical days of breaking multiple spinnerbaits on smallmouth from just having that good of a day. When the water's like mid-50s.
I still haven't
pushed
had
up
that
shallow.
bite.
Oh, yeah, it's
I've
been
just
that long.
never been in the situation where I need to throw a spinnerbait for a smallie.
It's not often. You get it, like, for me, it's got to be just right. There's so many other techniques that can just work around all that. But every once in a while, it's like spinnerbait, you can't beat it. I mean, Jesus, Travis and I had the second biggest bag in a 54 boat tourney on Newfound several years ago. And
that was like 8 years ago. Maybe
yeah,
longer.
Jesus, that is getting back. But I mean, we didn't have much until we picked up spinnerbaits because the wind was atrocious. And like just like that, we all of a sudden we had a pretty good bag. And we're like, well, we still need a few, like 2 more good calls and we'll be good. And I was like, we have to go over here and check because I just have a hunch. And we went over there and we culled 3 times in 20 minutes. And we ended up having the second heaviest bag. So we finished, it was a double down tournament. We finished first and second. Second in the bigger tournament, first in the smaller one. We made $2,000 on the day. It was awesome. That's all spinnerbaits. Every single fish we had in the boat was on spinnerbait. All smallies.
That's sick.
God, man, there's something really hard to beat that. So spinnerbait, we talked about that. You don't have to throw anything on it. You can kind of work it like a bladed jig, like we've talked about a lot. You pulse a little bit, work in little pauses.
Defiant sells them.
Yes, they do. And what I like about the Defiant ones is they're not a really heavy gauge on the metal for the arm. So it's got a little flex, and that's good because when you go to kind of flare it a little bit, it kind of compresses and pops. So I don't know, like that added action I find helps better than having like say like a really robust spinnerbait that has no flex whatsoever. You can't make it do as much as you want.
And they use a flipping hook, which Oliver says that he has not lost a fish on.
It's a big hook. It's a good hook. And it's got a beautiful screw lock on it. If you want to throw a trailer on the back, can't beat it. And, I mean, even on their jig heads, that screw lock is perfect. Mm-hmm. Absolutely perfect. Putting tiny baits on there, not tearing them, can't beat it. If I throw a trailer on a spinnerbait, honestly, single tail grub, I love it. It's great. It just works really well. Ribbon tail worm also works really, really friggin' well. You throw a swimbait in the back too. I don't like throwing something like Kitech though. I like throwing something like the skinny dipper a little bit more on the back of a spinnerbait than I do anything else. But then, you know, again, like a ribbon tail worm, like just cutting off the back half, throw that on the back, single tail grub, like those are all my favorite spinnerbait trailers. God damn, what else have we not covered?
Mr. Twister.
I literally have like 8 bags of Mr. Twisters in the other room right now. They're all white.
Let's go catch some crappie.
Dude, they're so good. They're so good.
I know. I don't know.
I think we extensively covered everything that we brought up. And I repeated myself.
Go fishing this weekend.
Are there any other questions? One of these days we're going to have to shut up. Because we're giving away everything we know. No, not everything.
Not yet.
Still going to know where to go. That's the other half of it. Which is why we keep saying the time on the water, there is no replacement for it. So you just got to go out there and chuck it. Absolutely as much as you can, man. Get out there as much as... Damn it, Jerry, I don't care if it was 90 degrees out, you jerk.
Oh, looky.
Shut up. You can live that life in 6 months.
I know.
I'm very happy and proud for you.
I know. And I can't wait.
Mark, yes, hair jigs, but we don't really fish them that often, so I can't speak to them. And that's always been our deal. You know it. but I'll reiterate for people that are relatively new to the stream. We just don't fish them. I know that they're really good, and I can speak to other people's success, but I don't like to do that where it can't be helped because I can't elaborate on it. And that's always been big for us. Talk about things we have extensive experience with that we can point to multiple instances of success in varying conditions. That way we can elaborate on it. Hair jig, we just haven't fished that often. We do have pretty good success with it on the rare, the few times we do fish it, but we just don't fish it that often. Andrew started fishing them a lot last year.
Caught some big fish on it too.
Yep. If you fish it as much this year as you did last year, then...
Oh, I'm going to, for sure.
Oh, Bill Potato asked one of the best questions ever. What's the deal with matching drop shot weight to current speed Sand River system? Means everything. In current, it means everything. And I've had that lesson. That lesson was my ass, and it was handed to me every spring by our friend Dennis. We went up to a specific area where current played heavily, and I would watch him catch 20 fish before I would be like, I would acknowledge, I haven't even gotten a bite. What the hell? And he was throwing almost everything the exact same as we were, but he was dropping way, way down on his weight so that it was matching the fall rate was matching the speed of the current. So it would get like a quick plunge down a couple of feet, and then it was falling. It was getting pulled by the current at about the same, actually faster than it was falling. So it got right down into that strike zone, like perfect. And it hung there. And that was literally the difference. Not just on a drop shot, but then also on a little swim jig head. And he was waxing him. And he was catching bigs. And he did that to us last year. And the year before. And the year before that. And I had a hard time dealing with that because I couldn't feel anything. And I've always just been a structure guy. Like, I can't feel the bottom. It's pissing me off. Was it last year we wore the back of the head off on those snipers? Mm-hmm. And we ended up, I forget how many fish we caught, but it was a ton. And we went back, we talked to me. He's like, how'd you do at the end of the day? We both held up our jigs so proud. We wore all the paint off the back and then some. We're like, look what we did. And he just shook his head. He's like, you guys and your bottom contact.
We crushed them that day. That wasn't 102 fish day.
No, that was the year before. Dude, I still think we caught close to 80 that day.
Oh, we had, yeah, dude, of course, for sure.
God, it was awesome. I can't wait. I absolutely can't wait. Oh, there's a part of me that really wants to go up there this Sunday, but there's another part of me that's like, let's wait. Let's wait.
Yeah, we need to wait.
Do a little bit more localish stuff, or mid-local, as we were talking about earlier. We'll take it from there.
Yes.
Some of the best fishing is yet to come. This has been a brutal spring. Like, I honest to God, this has been one of the worst springs. Not even spring yet. I know. Late winter, early spring. Sorry. Late winter, early spring. I mean, last year was pretty tough. Year before, there was moments where it was incredible. Year before that was just really, really good. All I can say is, if you're struggling, you have been, dude, you're not alone. It's been brutal. But it's going to turn around and real friggin' fast here. So hang tight and hold on tight because they're going to start hammering it hard. And wish you all the best of luck for those that are going to get out there this weekend. I myself will be out on Friday. Probably be on the water by 2:30. That's my hope. Go out and crack them. I hope. It's a lot of hope. So much hope.
So much hope.
Oh, anyway. Appreciate you all coming in to watch. Ask questions. It was fun. Hopefully we answered a lot and gave you at least a good amount of insight as to what to hopefully do this weekend for what will work for you. Other than that, man, take her away.
My turn?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Bye, everybody. We will see you guys next week, as always, every Wednesday at 8 p.m. at youtube.com/@Reel Nothern Bass.
Wish everybody wish Tim Doobie good luck.
Yes.
And the elites.
We talked to him.
Harris.
Talked to him today.
Yeah?
On the phone, on lunch.
Nice.
He's excited.
Good.
He hates a Harris chain.
We'll have him on next week.
Yep.
So we can recap how he's doing. We're following him the whole season. So not only him, but also Tyler Williams, main boy. Mm-hmm. Alex Weatherall from Connecticut. All those New England guys. Jonathan Kelly, too. He's not New England, but you know what? We have him on the show.
BFE sponsors him, so.
Yep. Best of luck to all you guys this weekend, especially New Hampshire native Tim. Okay, now you can finish.
And we will see you guys next week.
Have a good night, everybody.
Later.